Well, it's good to be here with you. I always love to come and talk to real estate people because I am one. 2 years ago, I was sitting out there listening to people say things that I didn't agree with. So we'll see if that trend still holds. So for the past 2 years, we've been saying things that actually you told us. Okay, you told us what needed to be done. There's one thing that I will say, and I talked to the commissioners. I have to take a little caveat here, a little aside. Normally I can come out and speak with you, and then if you complain about something that you hear from me, and it gets back to Avis, I can always deny it. Okay, that was misunderstood. That's not exactly what I said, but now you guys are on to my ways, and that you just invite her to be here, so I have to be really careful. Actually, it's great having Avis as the new chair of the commission. In fact, she was the first commissioner that I met when I came to be considered for the job, when I interviewed for the job. Okay, so one of the things that I told the commissioners early on is the only way I know how to do this job. Okay, I am 100% against, okay, this way of making public policy. Okay, you get three smart guys or gals, or a combination thereof, in a room, and they think of the smartest thing that they can think of, because they're all smart people, and then they try that. Okay?
Thank you.
That is not a good way to make public policy. So from the very beginning, the commissioners and the staff at the commission have been going out, especially me. I do this at least once a week, and I try to do it twice a week, to talk to you guys and listen to what it is that you're concerned about. Okay? And then the commissioners have been really, really supportive of that methodology, and then we take those ideas and we turn them over to what? To whom? A working group. A working group made up of whom? Of you. Okay? Of license holders. So the commission says, well, we want 15 people to look at broker responsibility issues. So we go around and gather up information about the kinds of issues that you're concerned about, and we turn that over to the working group, and then we say, look, you guys chew on this for a while. Here's some ideas that we have that might be helpful in how to implement public policy. So if you get out there too far on a limb and it's something that we can't do, we try to shape it so that it turns into an idea for something that we can do. Okay? We may not be able to do exactly. We are not, the commission is not, you're not, the association is not, we're not the king of the world. Okay? We don't get to say this is the way it is and everybody has to do it that way. There are very clear limits on the kinds of things we can do. So from the beginning, we have been focused really in two general areas. One is broker responsibility. Okay? How do brokers effectively and professionally deliver the services that they are under contract to deliver to their clients? Okay? How many clients do salespeople have? Zero. Zero. Every agreement is between a broker and a client, a consumer. I always used to tell my agents, that's our client. Okay, you brought them in, I signed them up. Okay, and I'm the one that's ultimately responsible for making sure that everything that's in that contract, that listing agreement or that buyer's representation agreement, I'm responsible to make sure that it gets delivered to them. But I'm going to deliver all those services through you, the salesperson, my sponsored salesperson. So I want to make sure I have very, very high standards for the kind of professionalism that I expect from my agents because they're representing me. Okay? And I want to turn our client into a raving fan. All right? And so I want to exceed their expectations in every arena. And so I want to make sure that all my agents are not only competent, but also well-trained, and then follow the policies and procedures that I have in place for how I professionally, I know what my responsibilities are under the law and the rules, and I know what my business practices need to be to implement the business plan so that so that all of us in this company are going to be successful. Okay? Avis is going to talk about how that actually plays out. I'm going to tell you some of the things that came out of the first education working group, first broker responsibility working group, the legislative session, and the second broker responsibility and education working groups. And today we have a third working, both an education working group and a broker responsibility working group that are convened today, working on issues that came out of the legislation. So back in 2010, we did two things in 2010. We did a 100% rule review. And last time I was here a year ago, I talked to you about some of the things that came out of that, where we removed, we did a bottom-up review, and from the staff, we had like 275 suggestions of how to make things work better, more efficiently within the office. And we implemented over a year period, we implemented 200 of those, and 75 of them we determined could not be done with the resources that we had, and we prioritized them. Then we did a whole 100% rule review, and then we did strategic planning, and that was also going around the state. We went to 5 different locations, had audiences sometimes as large as this, of brokers and some consumers and other players in the market, other parties of interest, title companies, lenders, folks like that, came and talked to us about what it is that we're doing well and where out there in the way this market has developed, okay, are we missing the boat? Okay? Where are there gaps in the law that are being exploited? Okay? And we found out a whole bunch of those, and those together, those ideas, working groups looked at them as well, and then we brought them back and put them into our strategic plan, and eventually they went into our legislative agenda as part of our cleanup bill, which thanks to you guys, how many people in here are TREC donors? Okay, anybody who didn't raise their hand? I hope you were at Hill Day, and if you weren't, that you should at least send the cost of a trip down to Austin, okay, to TREC, because those are the folks who made it happen, for us this session. So Senate Bill 747 got passed, and that's our cleanup bill, and I'm going to talk about a few of those things, the more important things that are in there today. Everybody should have gotten a little handout. Okay, this is something that we put together actually with the legal staff at TAR as well, and it has been sent out to all the associations. It's been published in the Texas Realtor, and it's available. You guys have it, and anybody wants it, it's on our website as well. In the I'm going to skip around a little bit because I think there's some more important things that are a little further off in the future, and then we'll back up and talk about some of the things that are immediately happening. Okay, how many hours of formal education in promulgated contracts does a brand new agent have to have in order to get their first license? Any idea?
60.
Zero hours in promulgated contracts. The law of contracts, you have to have 30 hours. General law of contracts. Okay? But what do we do? What's bread and butter every single day that you are a licensed agent? What are you trying to do? Write a contract, right? And you don't have to have not one moment of exposure to those contracts in your preparation to get a license to enter this profession to write contracts for consumers. Does that make sense? No. Thank you. You're right, it doesn't. And you said that. It doesn't make sense. And so unfortunately, starting next September the 1st, 2012, if you want to get your license, you have to have 30 hours of you still have to have 30 hours of contract law, but you also have to have 30 hours of promulgated contracts. Okay? You want to get your license at that point. So that hopefully will make it a little easier because, we're responsible for the education of new agents. Okay? Who's responsible for the training of new agents? The broker. Yeah, so we do education. We make sure that the schools and the courses and the instructors are all up to minimum standards. Okay? Now, our education working group that is currently meeting is looking at whether or not we need to improve those minimum standards. Okay? We do believe there probably is some room to improve those minimum standards based on what we hear from you. Okay? So they're looking at that. But then the training day to day on how we do business, how to do business, how to deliver the services that I promise as a broker in my contracts with consumers, how to deliver those in my office, in this business, okay, I'm responsible for training if I'm the designated broker. Okay, I'm responsible for that. Now, I can delegate that to other people, right? Because if I have, let's just say I'm a very successful broker and I have 250 agents in my office, can I really train each one of them? No. Okay, so I can delegate the responsibility for delivering those, for training those folks, for overseeing them on a day-to-day basis. I can delegate that to another person in the office. Okay? So if I delegate that, let's just say I delegate that to you. Okay? And I want you to be responsible for, let's just say you have a team. That's a popular business model today, team. So you have a team, and on your team you have 8 people. And so I say, you're responsible for the day-to-day supervision of these 8 people. Okay? Can I delegate the responsibility for you supervising yourself? No. No. So ultimately, the designated broker has to be responsible for supervising the folks that the designated broker delegates other responsibility to. But you cannot delegate to someone the responsibility to supervise themselves. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so education. How many hours of classroom learning in real estate finance do you have to become a salesperson? Yeah. See, it's a trick question. You guys already knew the answer because I told you. 0. 0. So we as real estate professionals are the trusted agents, fiduciaries, right? Trusted agents, fiduciaries to consumers who are buying or selling their home, okay? And on average, I know it keeps creeping up, and maybe when we're even more mobile than we are today, it'll be more. But right now, they might do it 4 or 5 times in their life, okay? Largest investment they'll ever make, bigger than their pension fund and all that kind of stuff. 4 or 5 times in their life, they're going to do that. And they have a trusted agent. And that agent, because real estate transactions are really, really straightforward and simple, and there are never any glitches, right? That's how they